Successfully concluded the joint venture arrangements which we inherited for the completion of the Saglemi housing project. Ghana continues to grapple with housing deficits currently estimated at over 1.8 million units. Some significant strides have been made in the housing sector. In line with government's earlier commitments to complete all ongoing housing initiatives, we have successfully concluded the joint venture arrangements which we inherited for the completion of the Saglemi housing project. The Attorney General is reviewing all related documentation to finalize and commence the project. When these projects are finished, it will increase the number of housing stock available. The TDC in Ghana is also steadily advancing work on 800 housing units under the Akpong Affordable Housing Project at Tema Community 26. To position TDC Ghana as a key player in Ghana's housing industry, I performed a sword cutting ceremony last year for what they call the Oxygen City Housing Project in Whole of all places. That project seeks to address Ghana's housing deficit by developing 1,000 affordable housing units. We've also continued with our resettlement housing efforts for the victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage, with 251 of the planned 1,010 housing units in critical housing zones already under construction. Collectively, these initiatives demonstrate government's continued resolve to expand access to affordable housing, strengthen urban planning, and provide relief to affected communities.
So that was President John Dramani Mahama when he was given the State of Nations address. And then he mentioned that the government have taken various steps to resolve the deficits that we have in our housing system, including the Saglemi project. He mentioned a project in Tema Community 26 and in Ho, among several others. And then he said that these are some of the things that demonstrate that government is taking steps to bridge the deficit. We have 1.8 million deficit we have when it comes to housing, and so the government is working on these projects so that they can provide people with access to affordable housing, and that he hopes that this will bring relief to more people. But until then, this is what the government has done. And so when he was addressing the organized labor, this is what President John Dramani Mahama said.
It's a major problem. And for households, it is consuming the income of households. We need to have a national housing dialogue and decide how, between the private sector, government, and labor, we can come together and come out with a social housing policy to make sure that we provide affordable housing for workers to purchase on mortgage or to be able to rent at a favorable cost. The reason why private house owners are taking advantage is because of the deficit in housing. And so we have the rent courts. We say don't take more than 6 months of advance, rent advance. But the one who is renting and the house owner are both not prepared to go to the rent court because they are doing it quietly. It says pay 2 years rent. Is a major problem. And for households, it is consuming the income of households. We need to have a national housing dialogue and decide how, between the private sector, government, and labor, we can come together and come out with a social housing policy to make sure that we provide affordable housing for workers to purchase on mortgage or to be able to rent at a favorable cost. The reason why private house owners are taking advantage is because of the deficit in housing. And so we have the rent courts. We say don't take more than 6 months of advance, rent advance. But the one who is renting and the house owner are both not prepared to go to the rent court because they are doing it quietly. It says pay 2 years rent advance. You can go and report him at the rent court and we'll hold that landlord accountable. But the one who is being asked 2 years rent advance doesn't want to go to the court. He will go and pay the landlord because he wants a place to lay his head. And so it is because we have a housing shortfall, and that is what is making them take advantage.
Okay, so that was President John Dramani Mahama when he was urging people to report landlords who charge more than 6 years in rent advance. But then he noted that most people, they don't want to go. They don't want to report the landlord because no one has the time to go to court. No one wants to go to court. And so they just pay the money. But then he urged people to be bold and report some of these things because some lords and property owners are taking advantage of the housing deficit situation that we have in Ghana. Now, Mark, you are the one who rents. Did you pay a rent advance?
Yep, 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
I think most landlords are still charging that.
Yeah.
At least 2 years in rent advance.
I'm not. The last time I rent, I'm not sure you get 1 year. I don't know if some people got it.
No, they are not supposed to be charging more than 6 months.
Yeah, but I just paid, and you have to pay it instant before you can.
Now, let me mention that also the president of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association also said that the reason why housing is expensive in Ghana is because the materials that they use for their project are expensive. And so if the cost involved in the development processes goes down, then the price of accommodation is going to go down also. But why is it that you know that the landlord is not supposed to be charging more than 6 months in rent advance? So why did you pay?
I need a place to stay.
Yeah.
if I go and report my landlord today,
where will you sleep?
Yeah, it's his property. So you can decide not to give me the place to stay again. Yeah. So where do I go?
And yes, so I was even about to make the point is that if you don't pay, someone else
will pay.
Someone else would. So I think in this situation, the government has to intervene as quickly as they can, because up until there's some tangible government intervention, the landlords and property owners will keep on exploiting the situation.
I remember when I first came to Kumasi, it was 1 year in advance. So the next time I tried to rent, they told me that right now 1 year they don't take, so I left 2 years. I had a friend who came here to do a project. He was on a project, so he wants to stay. He stayed here for 6 months in Kumasi. He didn't get a room. Basically, all the landlords were demanding for 2 years, and he wasn't staying here for long. He's just coming for a project. After the project, he's going back. And that was, so he had to struggle with accommodations. So last he has to come and stay with me.
Oh.
And most of the landlord, when you rent and ABI, you have somebody who is coming to visit, they have a problem with it.
They don't want people to visit you.
Nah, the last place I left, that was the same issue I had with my landlord. You rent the place, you enter, and they try to control who comes to visit and how long they visit you.
Hey.
Yeah. It's very strange. It was in Kumasi I realized that after renting a house, the landlord then detects who comes to visit you and how long the person stays. The room you rent.
Oh, I think maybe for that there are conditions. If you're a property owner, I would really love it when you call us within the show to explain to us, because I don't know. I think 6 months is okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. And then the president in earlier interviews and in earlier engagements has mentioned that, most of the people who are going in for housing, who are renting, most of them are young people. And so if you ask them to pay 2 years in rent advance,
you were a witness in this office that I was stressed out, frustrated. What did I go through? Because if I don't give you the full amount, it's not going to let me in. And I also need to get a place to stay. But if there was 6 months, trust me, easy. I could have started the boat and moved in. But 2 years, 6 months amount is going to be way less than a 2 years amount. So I have to struggle with that.
Okay, so I know that. So what happens in your situation? What happens if you decide to move away before the 2 years is over?
So basically what happens is that they will calculate the number of months you stay, deduct it,
and then give you the rest. Oh, okay, so they do refund.
They do that.
Okay.
And that one, they do refund, but sometimes the refund may take a while because they will be like they have to get someone to occupy the room. So they'll use the next
person's money
to refund you. So That's it.
But in actual sense, you are not supposed to be charging more than 6 months.
Yeah.
More than 6 months in rent advance. So
We get the president to actually report, yes. But if you report, it's a person's property. After you go to court and do the legal issues, the person can decide not to rent the house again. And by then, you are the one going to suffer. The judge and the law, they have a comfortable place to stay. You the tenant, you see, we can all go and report. But the consequence, the client will come back. The responsibility is going to lie on you, the tenant. Yes, you may go to court, they will find the landlord for doing that, he will pay. When you come back to his house to come and rent, and he will give you the keys to his room. No. And you have to move on to the next. So are you going to tell me that you are going to move from one landlord to another to reporting them and then it's not possible. So you just have to pay. Either you plead and then they wait and then you pay half and then finish. Some landlord will understand, but some too they won't. They will tell you they need a full payment before you move in.
they need the full payment.
Yeah, the full payment, yeah. I've encountered that. If you don't give them the full payment, if I suggest for half, they won't. They need a full payment for 2 years before they allow you to occupy the room.
You know, you said something interesting. That's when you came to Kumasi, it was 1 year, and then it went on to 2 years. So is it that I think the situation is
It's changing.
It's getting worse. It's not like it's just changing. It's getting worse.
Getting worse.
First they were charging 1 year in rent
in
advance.
yes.
Now they are charging
2 years.
2 years in rent advance. But this thing, because I think it is. First of all, let me say that we do need the government intervention, and even the president admits that we need government intervention, and we need to have a dialogue between the labor, the private sector, and all the stakeholders involved to talk about how to come up with some of these situations so that people are not burdened and they have access to affordable housing in this country. So, but then I think that largely, as a people, and I keep saying this, that Alfa disagrees with me, as a people, we contribute to the problems that we have.
We are our own problems.
We contribute a lot to the problems that we have, because now government has said that don't charge 6 months, more than 6 months in rent advance, so that people can get decent housing, so that someone can get a place to stay. But then the landlords they are not doing it. And at the end of the day, it is the person needs a place to stay. Just like you said, when you close from your day's activity, when you close from work, you need to go back home and lay your head somewhere nice, somewhere decent, so that you can sleep, and then the next day you move on. And so if you refuse to do this so that you can, in a way, just help your fellow brother.
But I'll be excited if you open the phone lines and some of the landlord calls to just give us the reason why they choose to take 2 years advance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll be very pleased to hear that. And you see, me, one thing I find difficult is I don't know the landlord, because my dad is a landlord. He rents out. He has properties he rents out to. And I was like, hey. So those people who take 2 years, imagine your son to go somewhere to go and rent, and the landlord over there gives the person 2 years advance. You definitely will complain, because the amount is going to be huge, and the person is telling you that if you don't give me the full money, I'm not going to let you the place, and you won't be happy.
Now, when you were moving about looking for a place to stay, I think somewhere last year, even in the early part of this year, was it a repetitive things in the places that you went, that they were, most of them were kept on charging 2 years in rent advance, 2 years in rent?
Every room,
including the place you got.
The place I am right now, 2 years. I paid 2 years straight. Some, I went to one and it was 4 years.
Oh.
I went to the person asked me to pay 4 years in advance. So every room I had was just demanding for 2 years advance, 2 years advance. And the funny thing was that if it is 2 years advance, I don't have a problem. But 2 years, and most people who rent, as the president said, is the young ones. And how much do I even make a day? How much am I going to save to pay 2 years? If it is 6 months, at least I can do something about it. And they were all demanding full payment before they let to the place. And it was very stressful.
So how much did you pay for the 2 years?
10,000. But imagine if it was 6 months. You could have been around 1,000, 2,000 or so. And that one, I could have gotten that one easily. You were here when you saw how I was stressed out at work because of. I even made an Alfa helped me do an announcement for accommodation, but finally I had to get one. 10 years, 10,000 for 2 years. And I had to pay complete before I move in.
Do you know what I'm thinking about? That Mark